Okay, so you want to start a small business of your own and you are an aspiring women entrepreneur or a woman solopreneur, and there are a few steps you can actually take to figure out what your niche is. How do you jump into, creating something and venturing to something? We're gonna go through all of the steps in today's video. First thing first is you have to identify a gap in the market. So look around you, see if there's certain services or products that is not out there, but there is a need for it, there's a want for it, and actually not the need, there's a want for it, there's a desire for this product and services, and the people that you want to serve really needs it as well. So, for example, when I started out as a freelancer photographer, the reason I started out in Singapore was also because there was a lack of female photographers in the market, and I just wanted to start, test the market. I wasn't really seriously wanting to be a full-time photographer. And when I started out and I placed myself out there, I had like about 15 to 20 inquiries on my first or second month, and I was quite surprised. And then I realized there is a gap in the market, and I was also offering at a lower rate because I was just starting out. So in terms of that, it was also like the price point was great for my customers at that point. And when I spoke to these small women-owned businesses, they were like, we prefer a female photographer because we were comfortable with her, compared to, they're more comfortable with a female photographer compared to a male photographer. So first thing first, find a gap in the market, and a gap that you can, come in, step into the space and provide or serve with your skills or product, and determine what you can offer in that niche, in that gap that you see. How can you fill up that gap? What can you offer? What service or product can you create to meet these needs and wants of your audience? So to do so, you have to probably do a bit of market research. If you have Instagram, go onto the stories, do a poll, ask your audience, like, what do they need? Do you think they require this service or product? Ask them about if in this niche, what are their thoughts? You can get a lot of feedback from just doing Instagram posts, to be honest. So do that, conduct the market research, and you probably would know if it's worth to explore in this niche and to fill this gap. So once you have solidified that there is this need in the market that you are able to fulfill, create a simple business plan. And now, business plan doesn't have to be very complicated at the start. It doesn't have to be complicated at all. A business plan basically means you have a product or services that, and you have an audience, or, an audience that are willing to pay for it at a price that they're happy with. And it's all about launching and executing and how you're going to market it and what kind of content you're going to create around it so that you can reach your potential customers. So I would say create a simple business plan with maybe smart goals and what kind of goals and input is required. When I say input required, it means, let's say your goal, people make goals like, oh, I'm gonna have 10k followers, and that is like the outcome, like the output goals, the outcome of what you have to do. Input goals, you have to have, like, I need to create maybe content 3 times a week, and maybe create reels that will reach my ideal audience, and that's the way my Instagram account is gonna grow. And then slowly your outcome would be, oh, I'm reaching to my 10k followers, right? So that's your outcome, and you have the input. So write down your input goals, use the SMART framework, and make sure it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable. So all of that jazz, just type SMART goals and you'll find out what it stands for and how you can implement that into your business plan. Third point is pretty important, is get a mentor. And I completely vouch for this because throughout, I think in my 3 years in business, 2 of the years I have gotten all of my years I've gotten some sort of coaching and mentorship, and I think that has definitely escalated my progress. And think about it, a soccer player has a coach, and almost everyone in their own niches has some sort of mentors guiding them. So why not have a mentor even in your business, right? So you want to talk to someone who has been there, who has done that, whose strategy has worked, but at the same time, that you can definitely implement to what you believe will be right for you, because every business is different. And I wouldn't say that a business coach or a business mentor knows everything from A to Z, and what might have worked for them might not always work for you. You can always tweak their processes, what they advise you, but there is a level of guidance. There is strategies being, taught to you which you can implement in your business. And there's basically that also accountability partner when you have a business coach. You have someone that you need to answer to, you need to like update her or him, and that actually ensures that your progress is much faster than doing it all by yourself. And let's be honest, when you're a small woman on business, you tend to get very distracted. There's so many things to do, there's so many like shiny objects everywhere, and it's so important to get someone to, make you get focused on just certain tasks and give you the step by step methods for you to follow. And at the same time, they sort of have that expertise in guaranteeing you that if you're at point A, they are able to guide you to point B so that you do not remain stuck right at point A. That's what a business coach does, bring you from point A to point B so that you move faster in your business. Another point is building a strong support system. And gosh, this is so important. It's also one of the reasons why I managed to ensure that my business, growing this business, has been a joyful one and not a stressful one, especially in the first year, because that's the year that you probably would want to just give up and not carry on if it fails. So I had like 2 to 3 really good business friends. They were friends, but they were also like specifically in freelancing business and makeup business or marketing business. And we always exchange ideas on, how we can improve ourselves and go do co-working with, in each other's places or outside. And that helps to actually build a community, because let's be honest, when you are an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, it can be a lonely journey. And this is where having that strong networks really helps to make you feel motivated or make you feel inspired and not feel alone. You need to think about securing your funding, think about how much funds you need to raise. For example, if you're a photographer, how much will your equipment cost, how much would your marketing expense cost, and all of that. Just like write it all down, and also have that written down, like how much clients or customers do you need to have to break even, because that's also very important. I wasn't always writing this on paper, so that's one thing. You should write it down so you have all the cost related stuff in one place, and if there is a funding that you need, you know how much you need. As you're growing your business, obviously you need to build a brand, and try not to be so fixated on how this brand is, this whole branding is going to look like, because as you grow, as your business grows to your, second year mark, third year mark, or fifth year mark, you'll tend to change your branding eventually, because you'll know exactly who you will be serving, exactly how, what kind of colors, fonts would be enticing to you, and you will change as well with your business. I feel like when you start off, just get the bare minimum, like things you like, things you think will work out for, just to launch. Because a lot of times, especially perfectionist people, they tend to spend a lot of time on this nitty gritty stuff, wasting so much time, and then the launch gets delayed and delayed. So have a strong branding, yes, but don't spend so much time on it to the point where everything gets delayed because of branding. Because I've seen my brand changed throughout like the last 3 years several times. So now that I talk about branding, like you're now gonna be like, okay, which social media should I, like leverage on? Which kind of social media it will work for my business? I'll suggest to start with just one social media platform first, especially if your business is a lot to do with the visuals. Obviously, I'll vouch for Instagram, and that's a lot of that's like right now where a lot of people are at in terms of business owners as well. So I feel like Instagram is a good place to start, and then maybe after a year you got used to posting constantly on this one platform, then you can definitely leverage to other platforms like TikTok and Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you feel is fit. But do not run yourself dry by being everywhere, because it's quite hard to maintain so many different types of social media platform. In the midst of all of this, please don't forget self care. Prioritize sleep, eat healthily, exercise, go on hikes, have fresh air, and have a break. That's one thing I would definitely advise when you're growing your business. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. You have heard it before, but I feel like this is one of the things that a lot of us do not always apply in our daily life, especially when we are sucked into the hustle culture, which I completely despise at this point. But when you are into that hustle, into that momentum, it's very easy to literally burn yourself, and then you go on to this burnt out zone, which takes a while to come back up from it. So you want your momentum to be a pretty gentle, curve, not like you peak and then you drop and then there's this crash and you feel completely burnt out. We don't want that. Please prioritize self care in your business is something that you should not neglect, especially if you're here for the long run. So that's a few tips that I want to share, especially from someone who has been there. And these are a few things that I wish someone has advised to me casually while I was growing my business. So I hope it helps you too, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.